who knows? Once in a
Barb
while we
can't
do.
doesn't have a can't
Wow.
find her meeting thing. Can we send it to her?
Can you
Is
send
there
it to her,
somebody?
Cass?
Do we have anybody on to do that?
Yeah.
Sorry, who's that?
It's for
Barb.
Barb.
Barb? Yeah, I can resend it. I'll resend it
Can
right
you?
now.
Oh, thank you so much.
What I'm finding is if you click accept, you have a hard time trying to find it. Find
It's
the
in
link.
delete.
What?
If you accept the meeting, the whole information goes to delete sometimes.
Yeah, like that's what I'm finding. So
Yep.
yeah, and I mean I was lucky that this ended up populating in my Zoom calendar, and that's how I ended up accessing this meeting tonight.
Yeah.
We
But I
could
find
Just
if I accept it, I have problems and trying
yeah.
to find it later.
Either that or if you do it sometimes I don't know if it goes to your calendar or not. See, ours goes automatically to our calendars.
if
And it
maybe
gives
if
you
we
an
add the
update.
meeting link in the minutes or in the agenda that goes with the minutes, like the email that
Yeah.
goes with the agenda, then you've got it there and that's never deleted out of your inbox. That might be better. It's a bit of a workaround, but it works.
Yeah, it does. I've had meetings where people have done that and it works better.
Yeah. There you are. Hi.
Right.
Great. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need one more. Ah, Jason. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And Barb should be on her way. Erica, did you send it to her?
Cassidy was.
I did. I just
Cassidy
sent
was.
it to
Sorry,
her. Yeah,
Cassidy. You're in the background there.
that's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
I don't have a face.
Okay.
Okay.
It's the voice. Dun, dun, dun.
Actually, on the weekend we went to Pumpkin Inferno.
Oh, where's that?
Over at Discovery Harbor. That is
How was
so
that?
awesome.
Was it?
It's awesome. Like I can't believe that. Like when you go in the day, you see all the pumpkins, and you can barely like you can make out what it's going to be. That as soon as it like an hour later, like it's an amazing like display, like just amazing. And then they also have entertainment, like they have a haunted house and they have like a really neat cemetery thing that they go through. It is like it's definitely worthwhile to go see.
Cassidy's sending it to you. Barb? Cassidy is emailing you the yeah.
Are we live now, Cassidy?
Okay, no problem.
I think
Yes.
do we need one
I don't
more?
know.
Do we need Barb in
We have
here?
7.
Cassidy,
7?
what email are you sending it to?
It's her
Cowboy?
B Harvey.
The B
No,
Harvey
that-
one?
No, that's the wrong one.
That's me.
Wait, hang on. Wrong. That's wrong one. Pardon?
It's going to be Cowboy Bill's one.
Cowboy Bill.
Cowboy Bill. Yeah.
I will use that one. Just a moment.
Okay, thanks, Cassidy. Yep, it's on its way.
Thank you so much.
It's galloping in. Don't worry. Goodbye.
All right. So we're live right now. So
Oh, great.
It automatically goes live at 7. So
So do we need to wait for Barb to join us, or can we call the meeting to order and then she can join whenever, or shall we just wait for Barb? What's the correct protocol here?
we should probably get going, I would think. 'Cause it's
It won't take long
time
once she gets it.
advertised, yeah.
Great. All right, we'll call the meeting to order then. Does anybody have pecuniary interest, conflict, if they feel that they have a conflict of interest with any of the topics that we'll be discussing this evening? Everybody have their cards. Maybe I should have started that off as well. Make sure you've got your cards handy. Great. If you don't have cards, thumb up is yes, thumb down is no. Excellent. Delegations then. Do we have any delegations? I didn't see anything on anybody going to address the group or any groups of interest.
No, we don't. but I would just indulge the committee for a minute and like to introduce Erica Avery, our new program coordinator, who's joined this meeting. So Erica joined us back in end of July. So welcome, Erica, to your first meeting. So
Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. Welcome, Erica. That is great. Moving forward then on to reports from officials. Has everyone had a chance to review we've got 2 reports here, the minutes from the last meeting in June. Anybody see any discrepancies, concerns? Very well. And so moving on to then the activity report, we're going to do, Cassidy, we'll do a motion for D in general, correct? D1 and D2 will be at the same time. Okay, great.
Sure, yes.
yes.
Okay, thank you. So then we will that was the Craig, your piece will be section E, report from official, correct? This is just the activity report from last month. Am I reading that?
No, it's this month.
Pardon me. I'm sorry. My apologies. Then Craig, since it's your report, I'll turn the floor over to you, sir.
All right. So before you have our activity report for the last few months, just because we pushed back needing to deal with budget, and it's a busy summer, everybody's away. So as I say, welcome aboard, Erica. Erica comes to us with many years of experience from Aurelia and Tiny and out Kingston Way. So it's great having her on board, and she's really starting to roll out programs for us and getting everything going. But I'll leave that for her to talk about. Our project's ongoing, our site inspections, and we've had some altered site plans for the EV charge stations that are going in Washego, Coldwater, and then the municipal office. Our capital projects manager, Colt Newman, is reviewing the agreements and the site plans. The target is for those to go in 2026 as per our last meeting with Lakeland. The final draft of the Fairgrounds Master Plan will be going to council tomorrow. So if everybody wants to tune in and see how that goes, we're excited to present that tomorrow. The consultant is presenting what, thanks to the input from the committee, is the concepts amalgamated 1 and 2 and based on other public comments. So we're very happy about that. We'll bring the document after it goes through council. We'll bring it back to the next committee meeting so you can see it as a whole. Everybody can look at it. It's a 15-year plan, highlights short, medium, and long-term aspects to the plan and initiatives. And as the price point right now is around $4 million for everything, but that's over 15 years. So we'll talk a lot more about that tomorrow. But it's a long, drawn-out plan that has to be done a certain way so things can be moved around when we get to that, and obviously find funding sources for some of it too. We're happy to say the parking pass program in partnership with Township of Georgian Bay was successful this year. Sold out, distributed very quickly. So all 50 passes were distributed. So that was great, more than last year. Right now we're reviewing the RFPs for Bassway Woodlands Park and the new passive park up in Port Severn that we went through the study for last year. Colt and I are just going over the bids right now. And reviewing them actually over the next 2 weeks. So we're hoping to get that initiative going in November with the consultants and start those projects rolling out. For staffing, myself, I attended the Ontario Parks Association conference in Niagara Falls. It was the first time I went to that in my career. I'd never been to it before. It was an okay conference. It was showed a lot of interesting things about parks and initiatives I hadn't seen before. And then I also went to, more important, I think, for us is I went to an Ontario Recreation Facilities Association symposium on aging infrastructure, which is very relevant to what we have in Coldwater and some of our community halls, some of our parks. So it was a 3-day symposium with about 30 different speakers from all over the industry. It was a really well put together symposium with lots of learning experiences. So I'll bring some information after that to the next meeting because I just went, so I didn't add it to this agenda. Council also granted permission to the to the Coldwater Fair to install a sea can on the fairgrounds property next to their storage building. They've painted it red. It sort of blends in already with the building, so you can't even really tell it's there. So we helped them with some gravel to get it on its location. So they needed it because their vendors had changed and they had to make their own booths for admissions to the fairs. So they need some extra storage. So that was okay. The ice is now in at the Coldwater Arena. We went through our summer program. We had a full pad active, including ball hockey, roller derby, and pickleball at some point, which we installed new pickleball nets in Washego as well. And we met with the pickleball group in Washego at the beginning of the season to discuss any issues. And honestly, there wasn't a lot. Like, we had a really smooth season this year with not a lot of issues popping up there. More so, we had some issues up in Coldwater with the pickleball up there that we had moved because it's an indoor facility, and we had moved the prices to $3, which we had a little bit of pushback on. But in the end of the day, that's still a cheap price and very comparative to a lot of municipalities that are paying it. What we saw happen from that, though, was because we have the new outdoor courts, the group transitioned outside and stopped coming in the facility. So we've taken a look at that, and if that's the trend, which is great that they're using those courts, like that's what they're there for. If that is going to become a more set program for the group outside, then we'll have to look at setting public hours like for pickleball, just so people know when that's going on the courts. In addition, that will mean we will probably shut down the program in the arena. So it takes a lot for our staff to set up the nets. Then I have to staff the building all day. And if nobody's going to come in and play, then I have lots more items that we need to take care of in the parks, and staffing resources can be moved accordingly to deal with a large backlog of parks items and work on the Utah Trail, which you'll see what we're doing in the budget when I talk about that, about how we're trying to transition that. So if we don't have to hold staff to a building because they prefer to play outside and it's free, that's fine. But we're just not going to offer the program inside then. And we won't be opening up if it rains either. Like, that's just the luck of the draw those days. So we also, for the arena itself, we also installed new dressing room doors and the frames throughout the facility and put on a new door on the back of the facility. And we're currently still working with Tatham to rebuild the vestibule that was damaged from the snow load last year. They had to do some engineer drawings for that, and so that we're just getting a contractor together to repair that. So hopefully that will be done in November. For parks, Marchmount and the Coldwater Ball Diamond infields were resurfaced, which was great. They look great. Parks, we saw still ongoing maintenance from the ice storm over the summer months. The actual final cleanup is happening this week with a fence along the Utah Trail. That's the last item that's being repaired from all the tree damage for a farmer. Took us some time to get contractors willing to go into there and fix it. So that's finally going on. We had 80 dead or dying trees on the Coldwater Fairgrounds from the emerald ash borer. So those have been removed. So you'll see a substantial tree clearing along there. Washego requires that at some point too. We've had talked with a few contractors and identified the trees. There's a substantial amount there too that have been hit by the emerald ash borer that will need to come down. You can also see in Washego, we've done some substantial tree trimming and brush clear up. The community was pushing, they wanted brush pushed back. Our staff worked really hard this summer, brought up the cedars, created some great views in there while still maintaining environmental areas of the marsh and on the one side. So it looks great in there. We redid the trails in there as we had in our capital budget. So we redid all the accessible trails in there and brought them back to the proper width. The new disc golf course will be installed for 2026. The contractor was a bit later on getting the signage, and he has everything's in place now. Like, we have it. We haven't had it delivered yet, but it's all ready for delivery. But it doesn't make a lot of sense to put in before the winter right now and just give it a season outside, and when the snow could hit in a month, and hopefully not. But We don't need extra wearing on the signage and that. Um, Over the season, we applied for an accessibility grant as well back in September. Um, we came up with a project we had heard comments that people wanted a shade structure near the pickleball courts there in Washago. So we applied for that as one of the things that qualified under it, to put a shade structure in there with accessible picnic tables, and then bring the trail to that as well. So we applied for 60,000. See if we get it. Hopefully we'll hear soon. Tomorrow we're installing a memorial bench for the Township of Severn's first elected mayor, Ron Stevens, at Timberline Park at the request of the family. So that'll be at 4 o'clock tomorrow. So new dedication will happen then. Severn Sound Environmental Association, their biodiversity enhancement team, has just installed some bee-friendly wildflowers in Coldwater at the library and at Village Green. And additionally, there's trees that will be showing up at the fairgrounds to replace. We've asked for 25. I'm not sure how many we're getting yet, to start to replace the trees that we've just cut down. So, because you'll see when we bring forward the master plan for the fairgrounds, you'll see the brush component on that side of the property bumps out a little bit as the road shifts over. So to create a block for the residents there. So we're going to start that process, and hopefully we keep getting free trees every year, which would be nice. So trails, Utah Trail, we actually didn't get open until July 1st, but we eventually got it open. We were successful in getting a $15,000 grant from the Trans-Canada Trail for a shade shelter, bike racks, and benches at the end of the Utah Trail in Coldwater. Fortunately, Simcoe County didn't approve their portion of it. So because of their new program that you have to finish your previous grant from the year before. So our sign kiosks, which are in now, at the time of the application, weren't complete. So we'll go back at them next year, and we have the money right now, and then we have it in the capital plan for that shelter. So we'll apply for it for next year. And now I'm going to turn it over to Erica, who we've gotten to the program part, so she can tell you everything she's been up to.
Hi, everybody. So just an overview on programs specifically. So when I arrived in the summertime, we had transitioned from spring through to summer and carried over some of those programs. And then with fall programming, we're continuing some existing programs and then have introduced a new free weights program as well. So there's a list of some programs that are running, including free weights, a couple yoga programs, a watercolor program, and then a children's art program as well. And then our Zumba is returning as well this year. So for this session, we did something a little bit different with offering 2 consecutive fall offerings for select programs. So even past the initial startup in September, we're still accepting some registrations for some select programs. So Beyond Beginner Yoga, Yoga for Resilient Aging, and the Tiny Fun Arts and Crafts program are still accepting registrations, which have been going really well. Starting tomorrow, we're launching a new 55 plus drop-in program. So it will be hosted at the Washago Community Center, and it'll be a free program. We'll have some coffee, tea, and some light refreshments, and just an open space for some of our older adults within the community to go and find community and learn more about the township programs and just have a space to gather, which will be really nice. So that'll be starting tomorrow at 12:30, and will be recurring every week until probably end of June. And then preparations are underway as well for summer day camp, which is going to be launching next summer. So at this point, there's just a lot of preparations for policies and procedures, training manuals, prepping staff recruitment documents, and all that kind of fun stuff. So very administrative heavy at this point, but in the new year, we'll be releasing some details as it relates to our program offerings for summer day camp, a fee structure, what that registration process will look like, so on and so forth. So I attended the Coldwater Fall Fair as well, just to do a little bit of outreach into the community, see what people are looking for, and gain a little bit of insight into where people are looking for this as well. So our plan right now is to offer summer day camp at both the Washago Community Center and the Coldwater Arena. And an online program proposal form was released a few weeks ago as well. So looking for anybody within the community or beyond interested in sharing skills or interests or anything like that. So if anybody is interested in offering a fitness program or an arts and culture program, there is an online form that people can complete, and then we'll go through an intake process for expanding some of our program offerings. And then, like I mentioned, sorry, myself and two customer care staff attended the Coldwater Fall Fair. So we connected with a lot of community members, a lot from in Severn, but then some non-residents as well. So we had a lot of very intentional conversations, majority being related to recreation programs, especially with some of those non-residents. But it was really great to kind of get out into the community and see what people are looking for and what they're currently excited about, and then also what we're hoping to launch in the new year as well. And then, yeah, just firming up some details for winter programs. So we are just setting our schedule for registration for 2026. So firming up some of those details with the registration anticipated at the beginning of December, and then programs commencing the week of January 12th. So everything has been going really well so far, and just looking to get to know the community a little bit better, see what they're looking for, and find a way to integrate that into what we're currently offering.
Thanks, Erica. Thanks, Craig. Well done. Any discussion, comments? Anybody have something to add? Any questions with respect to, we'll start with Wanda, Councillor Wanda Minnings. Minnings, thank you.
Hi, thank you through the chair. Erica, thank you very much for your report, Craig. Great to see yours too. Just a couple very minor things. On the memorial bench dedication tomorrow for the former Mayor Ron Stevens, the date in your update is today, October 14th. It needs to be October 15th.
Well,
Just a minor thing, but I do point people to the minutes or the agendas too.
Yeah.
And Erica, I know you, my question was, where will the summer day camps be? And you answered that. And I'm hoping, or I'm wondering, I guess, is there an opportunity or to get feedback from specifically West Shore community? I'm assuming, well, I know that day camp's been something that people have been asking for in the 3 years I've been here. And a trip to Washego is not out of scope for most families, but I guess I'm wondering about in the future if there's an opportunity, or if if there's opportunities going forward to use Severn Shores Public School, for example, in the summer months to offer similar day camps, because I don't know, but we have a lot of children that require walk-to programming in my community, and I'm just advocating for those. So if it's not for this summer, if it's something that could be explored.
Yeah, thank you. Through the chair, definitely something that we would be looking to explore in the future. I think for 2026, we'll be doing a little bit of a temperature check on the community, see where the interest lies. And so we're doing kind of two different models between Coldwater and Washego. And with the Washego model, we'll be doing kind of an all ages summer day camp offering. And so based on what we see for 2026, we'll be able to make a little bit more educated decisions moving forward. And then we can also target some of our advertising and survey kind of offerings to different communities as well. But yeah, sorry. In the new year, we'll be doing a little bit more community outreach as well to see really what people are looking for. But for now, trying to build a bit of a foundation, we'll be offering just at the two community centers, and then see what the community is looking for from there and make some adjustments once we get one season under our belts.
That's awesome. Thank you. And then just a subsequent question, and I'm just going to make an assumption that going forward, it potentially could include Christmas break or March break, some of those other mid-school year vacation times from school where parents are really looking for something for their kids. Got it. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Wanda. Thanks, Erica. Cheryl, I saw your card was up moments ago.
Right. Through the chair to both Craig and Erica, thank you so much for your reports. I really appreciate it and for all the work. At the last meeting, we had a delegation talk about a bike rental program.
Yep.
I'm wondering if that program actually did it go, because I checked the beer store a few times and I didn't see bikes there. So do you know, like, did they put the
Yep.
bikes there and I just happened to, and they were maybe all rented out there?
Through the chair to the member, yeah, the program did launch. We did
Okay.
a 3-year agreement with them to see how they do this year. They put in a structure. So if you go where the trailhead is, there beside the funeral home, that lot there, you see a little
Uh-huh.
shelter there, and the bikes are in that. So
Oh, okay.
hopefully
Okay.
they were
Because I
rented out
saw
for them.
that.
So,
Okay.
but that's where, so
Okay.
there's a little structure there. So yeah, they launched it, I want to say, in July, near the end of July is when they launched it. So, yeah,
Oh.
so I haven't talked to them lately. I'm hoping their program's going well for them. So,
Okay, that's great to know. The second question I have for you is has there been any kind of feedback about getting funding for the new rec facility up in the West Shore area?
I'm trying to remember if I reported last we were rejected by the Ontario program. I think I reported on that last time. That was over 5 million. We haven't heard back from the federal grant, and I'm expecting that's probably because the federal budget hasn't been passed yet. They will not bring that forward till November. We've tried to gather information, but there's no way to contact them apparently right now.
Okay. Right.
Their email link has been removed. So
Oh.
we'll see. I'm not sure. It's the federal government, so I don't know. But we're hoping we hear something at some point. But probably if the budget's passed in November, if the program still does exist under this new budget, then we probably won't hear till after Christmas, I wouldn't expect. So,
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Through the chair to Erica, you mentioned about the online proposal form for programs. I'm just wondering, how is this information being disseminated, just so that I can, I want to, yeah, just so we can let people know about it, because yes, anyways.
For sure. Thank you. Through the chair. Yes. So the online program proposal form is available at severn.ca/recreation. And so I've worked with our communications officer in the past couple weeks to do some social media advertising for this. And there may have been a notice that went out to subscribers of the News and Notices platform. So I can't recall exactly if there was or if there wasn't, but I do know there was some social media advertising for that. So that will be an existing link that is available. So if anybody's looking for any information as it relates to current program offerings, or if they're looking to propose a form, then you can direct them to severn.ca/recreation, and it's just an online form, and it'll come directly to myself. So I'll receive those, and then based on what our current offerings are or what our availability within facilities lies with, then we'll be able to decide if the program is a fit and what that will look like. And so I kind of take those on a case-by-case basis, but it will stay open. It won't close. So we'll always be accepting any proposals and then take those on case by case.
Okay, thank you. And also, I'm just curious, like I used to get Facebook feeds from Severn Township. Does anybody know how you can get back onto it? Because like I haven't received any Facebook kind of notices lately. Or does anyone know? Or I just need to contact you? Who I need to contact?
we can let Tracy know and see
Okay.
about that. She's the one who handles all that. So we'll send Tracy a note to take a look for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Great. And if there isn't any further discussion on the reports from officials D1 and D2, I guess, Cassidy, we need a motion.
Judith has a question.
Oh, pardon me. Sorry. Thanks, Craig. Judith?
Yeah, this is to Craig.
Mhm.
What about staffing for next year? Because if we're going to have day camp,
Mhm.
and then we're going to have the catch up, like this year we
Mhm.
had issues. So,
Yep.
or do I bring that up when you're talking about capital budget? Like I have a concern with staffing.
No, so what, because I'll start with the camp. So the camp
Okay.
was funded by a grant. So we've put, as done our initial submission for operating to the treasurer. So we've put in through, Shell and I put together the plan with Erica of all the staff. So that's all included under the grant.
Oh,
So
okay, good.
they'll all be funded through the grant for this year. So
Okay.
camp staff's not an issue. I'm sort of putting the cart before the horse right now with the comments on operations. We have a lot of seasonal contract work right now that gives us gaps in our season at bad times, right? Like at when ice is going in, it's a gap because we have to lay them off for 2 weeks because they
Yeah.
don't, for benefits and OMERS and those kind of things. They can buy into the OMERS plan already, and a few of them have opted into that.
Okay.
But so we're coming forward in the budget with a plan to move a couple into full time. So
Good. Okay.
with really minimal economic impact to the department. So
Yeah.
um,
Did we ever think, I know this year I had a ton of trail complaints, and I know we were short-staffed.
yeah.
And I'm not sure how many staff can actually groom. Did we ever think of contracting that?
Well, we had a lot of issues. We didn't think of contracting this year. We did lose a staff member for almost the
Yeah.
whole summer with an injury. So we were down that, and then with holidays. But you'll see when we get into the capital, we've come up with a solution to keep it internal. We just don't have didn't have the equipment either to
No.
deal with the trail, and it
Yeah.
actually affects. I'm going to get into the capital, but it affects our
Okay.
watering program and
Yeah,
in
the
downtown.
tractor and, okay, I just didn't
Yeah.
know if it was something that if we couldn't get some more staff or get them full-time, would that be a possibility
And
just
it
to
also ties
grab
back
you
to
through that next season?
It also ties back to what I was saying about pickleball too, because we were leaving a staff person in the facility to
Yeah,
sit there and there's nothing going on. So
right.
if we don't have to do that, that brings another operator back into the
Well, that's
system.
true. Okay. I
So,
just worry, I just like to make sure you got enough staff because I know
yeah, I know.
they're running. Like I
They
know,
are,
you know what I mean? Like there's no way that they're on the go.
yeah. I think part of the issue is because it's a growing department, like since it's split off from public works and we're now a dedicated department. Now you'll see in the capital budget that we're starting to grow that way and get the equipment in place
Okay.
so we can better service all our parks and facilities.
Okay.
And because we have a lack of vehicles and things like that,
Well, that's the other thing. Like you're going from Coldwater to Mushego to West Shore to Port Severn to,
we couldn't
and it's a
send
big,
out teams, right?
yeah.
Like we only had certain only so many
Yeah.
could go. So yeah, so I'll talk about
Okay.
that capital a lot more.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
And that bike rental, interestingly enough, I got a call from a counselor in Georgian Bay, and he's going to try to hook up with them because he's looking at it for Georgian Bay.
Okay, that's good.
Excellent.
Yeah, so they can get a bike,
Yeah.
Port
Yeah.
Severn, Honey Harbor, and go somewhere
Yeah,
and come
right,
back
all
around
right.
and go.
Yeah.
So I said, well, you know what? Because he couldn't find anybody. He said, and then he said I don't know how he found out, but he must have seen or heard about the bike thing. Yeah.
Didn't advertise, so maybe you saw it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's good. All right. Thank you.
Right.
Great. Thanks, Judith. Anyone else? Anyone I'm missing? Did anyone have their card up earlier? Great. Okay, Cassidy, I guess we need a motion for component D, reports from officials, D1 and D2.
Yeah. So the motion reads that items D.1 and D.2 be received for information.
And I need someone to support that motion, please. Thank you, Barb. And second. Thanks, Jason. And we will vote. All in favor? Great. Super. Moving right along then to E. Reports from officials. This is Recreation Facilities Capital Plan Priorities. Craig, I'll turn this over to you. This is your report as well.
All right, thank you. So before you have our annual capital project lists. So a few things different this year, just off. So with the strong mayor powers now, municipalities, so the recommendation tonight would be to the mayor to consider for budget deliberations. So that's just a little tweak, thanks to the province. Within the budget, you'll see I've listed all the projects. The funding sources haven't been allocated yet, so we're still having those meetings and how the funding. Andrew, our director of finance, usually allocates where he thinks he can take the money from, and we have our discussions on the project. So what we've done for, I'll break it down through starting with Wishago. So we want to replace the ball diamond gravel there. It's full of weeds and overgrown, so that was on the list on our 5-year plan, sort of. So this is the year to do that. If you've been down to Wishago Park, you know we have a little storage building down there that's rotting out and falling down. So that's to replace that building with a little bit larger, a 15 by 30 building. So that will house equipment, a prefab metal storage building. So to be put on the same spot as where the existing one is now, which will house equipment for the Wishago, Timberline, Shoreview Parks area that we're transporting around. And as you'll see further in the budget, how we're starting to gather equipment and get it in place so our operators can use the best way to use their time. We have in there also the one, the accessible picnic shelter, which is grant funded of 60,000. I've also put in there the park entrance redesign and the historic stone building that's there at the front. The turn into that park is quite tight, and noticing it's getting busier down there. So we want to open that up a bit, do some gardens. This is to hire a design to be done, and then look at that historic building. Like, it's a really nice stone structure that was a gatehouse. I don't want to tear it down. I want to try and find an adaptive reuse, being from the cultural background that I have, that I don't want to tear it down. So we're looking at getting a consultant. I'm thinking, how do we get like maybe use the openings from the windows and doors for park signs to do a map, maybe some First Nations artwork, reach out to Rama to get some artwork put in there, some within the park. So that would be great. There's lots of art in the town too. So that would tie into that. So just a little bit of money there to do some kind of little plan study so we can get something in place to beautify the entranceway there and new gates and things like that. Then we have just a little bit of carryover for the disc golf, just to install some, that's mainly to put some trees in and things like that that need to be landscaped for the course. So general parks, within the master plan, like a lot of things we're doing is also laid out through the master plan. So as part of that, Ian Crichton was that's new benches in there along the pathways in there. The pathways at Marchmount need to redone. They're only about 2 feet wide right now, which doesn't meet accessibility standards, so they need to be widened again. We have the Port 7 Park development in there. So my intention for that, knowing that this is a bit ahead, we're going to go through the design, but my intention is to go after a Trillium grant for that. So and see if we can get a Trillium grant to fund that park. So it's not to come out, it'll be this year we take a shot for a Trillium grant. So, and then hopefully that funds it, because we want to do an accessible passive park out there. So if we can get a good design in place, then we can put that in the application. Hopefully we're successful. We also have in there ball diamond gravel to upgrade the ball diamond Timberline. It needs some work on there. We have picnic tables and benches just in general around. Just, you'll see this as an annual program now until we get them all back up and in good shape through all the parks. We just pick at them bit by bit each year. A year ago we had a water fountains donated to us, so this is to install them. The 10,000 there. So now we get into what I was talking about with Deputy Mayor was about how we're starting to develop the department through capital initiatives. So right now we're using a tractor to water the plants up in Coldwater, which is very loud and takes our tractor out of our service where it's needed on other things because it's always hooked up to a water trailer. You know, people calling me and complain about the noise.
Mhm.
So we've come that we're looking to buy side by side, which can be used. We buy a smaller trailer, which hooks onto it with a water system, which can easily be unhooked. And then that side by side is also used to service the Utah Trail and go up and down with from the north end. We'll have the vehicles down the south end too, but is to get quicker access. So when we were talking about the staffing before and increasing, getting them off a contract, getting them out of the building, this will help us create crews because currently we only have 2 trucks. One's in Washego, one's in Coldwater. It doesn't take everybody everywhere. And so now by getting these extra vehicles, you'll also see another truck in there too for our supervisor who doesn't have one, uses his own car to drive around, which is not good either. So that's to get more vehicles out there and more movement of the team. So now as we grow the department, we can break up into core groups who can go around and tackle different areas. We did a little bit of that this year with 2 staff down in Washego who tackled from West Shore down to Washego and tackled that area of any kind of extra maintenance. Like we have a grass cutting contract, which is really cheap for the market, which is great. But they don't get into the fine points of things. So this allows our staff to get in and do even more of the cleanup that a contractor wouldn't do and deal with issues that trees coming down, like we a lot, and we're going to see trees keep falling on the trail and stuff over the years just because of the ice storm. So we'll keep seeing those kind of things. So you see the side by side, the water trailer, a pickup truck, and then a line for parks maintenance equipment, just like weed whackers, mowers, these kind of things that are portable saws to get around, and then a 0-turn mower because we do more cutting than what's in the, like we have a cheap contract, but it's not every week. So that's for the ball diamonds. So that's to zip the ball diamonds quickly to keep them in Coldwater more active. And now we have rentals too in Marchmount. So it's getting over there and zipping it when the contract, because we have a set amount of cuttings within the contract, but there are more that are needed and they don't provide that as many. So this is where you see the more equipment, and that's really where those kind of things are identified in the master plan. That's really where we're pushing now, is to get this, because if you went around and you looked at the state of Washego before we started this trimming program, and you'll see it in Timberline tomorrow, that everybody's out, you'll see that some of the trees have been trimmed up there. It's getting the parks back to what they should have been looking at for a long time, but we just didn't have the manpower to do it all. So now we're trying to get the manpower in place to do that. So that's why we're coming forward with all those things. And it's overall, it's not a huge cost. So trails, we want to increase the amount of trail work we want to do on the Utah Trail too. There's parts of it that need to be resurfaced badly. So we're going to start tackling chunks of that each year, bit by bit. And then you'll see the shelter in there again with the Trans-Canada Trail Foundation grant. As we learned this year with the ice storm, we were lacking a little bit on our emergency services. So not from our response, but from what we could offer. And so we put an emergency generator in for Washego, because with the ice storm and the 2 highway shutdowns that occurred, there just isn't anything, and West Shore is not here yet. And so this is something will help along that corridor for emergency center that's needed. The rollout of the fairgrounds master plan, you'll see the dog park there. So that will be one of is identified in the first 5 years. So that's one we think we can get to right away, because it is actually over to the trail. So it doesn't impact everything else yet. So we want to tackle that next year. We've put the West Shore facility in there. It's the amount of the grant, and then the anticipate other 4.5 million. That's up for much larger discussion with council on where that comes from, a debenture but that probably doesn't occur until we ever hear about the grant at this point. So we've put it in the budget as a place setter, essentially, just that it's still there and on our minds. But we council has directed us to wait until we hear about the grant, so that'll sit there. And if we are successful, then we come back and talk about where the other funding is coming from at that point. So the arena needs new tables and chairs, so the supervisor has requested that we replace the whole table system there, from stacking tables to folding rack chairs, and that, which is a great space saver. So we put that amount in the budget. So overall, we think the budget isn't too impactful. Like, there are large items in there, but they're grant funded. So we do have reserves that we can take from, and I'm not sure how much will be on the levy yet, but these are our projects that we're putting forward.
Thanks, Craig. Input, questions, comments? Judith?
Yeah, if you take that 15 million out,
Mhm.
it's not that bad, really. Like, we're down to
No.
about 1 million.
Yeah, it's on average of what we've been doing in the
Yeah.
past. Yeah.
And I think I like what you've done and talked about the cruise, so that should help keep the catch up on that one.
Yeah.
And that dog park, I will make sure that person gives you a call so we can get on that one.
All right.
And the other lady too, for the other part. They want to donate, we'll be
Yeah,
there
we'll take
for
it.
them.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, Craig. This looks good, and yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it looks really good. It looks like a lot, but we were behind a little bit. Great. Wanda.
Sorry, I had to find my mute button. Thank you. So thanks. Good report, and I agree. If the West Shore Rec Center was taken out of there, it seems very manageable. Lots of diversity as far as projects. And I like the way your thinking is going for the department to sort of, it sounds like, have people who are more regionally based within the township. So crews have a broader geographic area and don't sort of go end to end. So that does make sense. You started off by saying, talking about the mayor's budget or something about the strong mayor powers, and that is true. That councils with 7 or more, I think it is, Judith, or automatically get strong mayor powers. But I think that all of this is actually going to the full council, is it not, for budget,
Yep.
Judith, and not just to the mayor for decision?
Yeah, I know. Well, Craig, go ahead.
I was just gonna, it's the recommendation I'm talking about, is it had to be
Yeah.
worded to the mayor.
Okay.
It'll come to
Yeah.
council
Yes.
though, but
Yes.
yeah,
Okay,
it's
good.
just a change.
So one thing that I wanted to ask you about considering, and it may be too late for this budget, but we've talked about it a little bit before, and it's an item I've been bringing forward all the time, is waterfront access, roads, paths, beach, lake, access, and beach is a broad term for some of the access points that the township actually has going to the lakes and the river entries. Some of them are in very poor shape. They're washed out, just weather related, kind of beaten up. And in others, there are large cement segments, probably stuff they use for underground to put in sewer systems in cities or something, that are big cement blocks that just prevent, I believe, vehicles from going to the water, maybe other motorized vehicles, and that's good. But here's where I'm going with this committee, is that if I'd like to kind of hear, and it doesn't have to be tonight, just in a future meeting, about a plan to kind of look at some of those water entries. No two are the same. So it's a bit of a project, I get that. But for the areas that have these cement boulders that are blocking the entry. I just don't feel that they reflect the beautiful surroundings and the beautiful township that we live in. They look like construction garbage, and some of them actually have big holes in them from where it looked. That's why I say it looks like they're underground sewer things. And people walk by and maybe throw a coffee cup in or something, and we're forever cleaning them out. So it's more of a beautification thing with the cement stuff. I get the purpose for it, and that they're moved seasonally, but I'd just like to put that forward as maybe there's a creative opportunity with some paint or something, because they are an eyesore, and that's something that does stand out. And I think it reflects on the township.
All right.
Thanks, Wanda. Over to you, Craig.
Yeah, like I understand what you're saying. Like we did this year down on Thompson Crescent. There was an area down there that our contractor cut. We had a tree snap over from the ice storm and fall in the water there. So we actually went through a process this summer where it had been in the water. The branch had been in the water so long, I had to call the Ministry of Fisheries to see when we could remove it, just because it was becoming a fish habitat. So we actually weren't actually able to take it out until after mid-July. We had a lot of the neighborhood down there calling because it was an access point for the whole community for canoes and kayaks. And it is part in our park plan actually too, which is rare for a road allowance because they're all road allowances, right?
Yeah.
So,
Um,
so we went in there and we found the neighbors were actually throwing their brush in our brush pile, so we cleared the brush right out of there. That's all gone. It was an interesting commentary from the neighbors. They were not happy to see us in there, but the ones who were requesting to get access down to the lake for their canoes and kayaks were happy about it. I know the areas you are talking about, Counselor, and yeah, that is the blocks are removed for the snowmobiles in the winter. They move them out of the way, but that is something to look at. There is always good and bad with beautifying those areas as it attracts more people, and then some neighbors like it, some don't. But it is public land and there are road allowances, and if people aren't parking their boats in there, they're throughways. It's no different than where I live right now. We have them. I'm in a lakefront community, very similar to Cumberland Beach area and West Shore and that, and we have those kind of allowances all over my neighborhood too. So, so I'm fully aware of the issues that come with that, and getting everybody to have access. It's important that people get access to the lake. So,
Yeah, and I'm all for access. It's more of the beautification of whatever you're using. And I know that those cement blocks are probably cheap and cheerful. Well, they're cheap. They're probably not that cheerful. So maybe just, and it's not a priority. It's just, for maybe going forward. The other thing that I had on my list, and again, not for today, but just to keep on your radar, and I'd like to know if it's on yours and the departments too, is the culture component of our committee, because we talked last time about this is a culture and recreation committee, and a lot of the discussion and focus, rightly so, is on recreation. And then we kind of talked a little bit about, opportunities for culture, and that may come in that park, the passive park in Port Severn, etc. But I just didn't see anything in the budget for that, and that's okay. I just wanted to make sure it's on your radar too for future years.
Yeah. So, as part of the Port Severn project, there will be a cultural component to that for some heritage interpretive signs. As I said too, also with the trying to redo that historic kiosk in Washago there of adaptive reuse, we'll have that cultural component there of artwork to go with that. We did look at interpretive signage program for the municipality to go around, but in conversations with our communications team, they're like, "Oh, that's a bit much for us this year." So we sort of push it off to 2027 to start to look at that. But so, and that would be like plaques and things like with interpreting it all through the municipality that identify areas. So, and that's something the committee will be fully involved in. But I think, yeah, we do have some good cultural components this year, like with the restoration of that building and whatever interpretation we want in public art to go into these parks, even with Bass Lake Woodlands. Like we're redoing that park too. Do we want to put a cultural component within that park too? Right. So everything will have a cultural component to it. We don't have a public art policy right now because they're very wide ranging, which get into the Planning Act and all that. So they get very intense with development, but that may come down the road too with new developments and looking at those kind of things with certain percentages of development fees going to public art, which is done in some municipalities. So
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Craig. Cheryl.
Sorry, through the chair to Craig. Just pick around culture. I know like both Washego and the Coldwater Arena is, and I'm just wondering, like, is there a possibility down the road they could be looking at doing performances there or bringing in comedy theaters? I know, I think it was about 3 years ago, Mill did host a comedy night one night at there. I know my husband and I went, and so I'm sort of wondering, is there possibility down the road that that there could be something around, looking at these different types of cultural activities that could be brought to the community?
I would say that as we're growing of our programming, those kind of things to be looked at, whether it's a movie night or something like that. I think as Erica grows into her position, she'll bring things forward like that. And that's also to say a lot of groups, if they want to rent our facilities to put on cultural events, that's great too. Like Steampunk came back this year and they want to use our facility. Those kind of things are great to add to that. We don't have a ton of event staff. We sort of try and stay out of the event business, but we're open to booking for that. And yeah, just having some components and maybe some interaction with the library, helping promote the library. I think we're also working on like a leisure guide for the community, which doesn't exist right now, which we want to launch next year, which we'll be adding those components to it. So it'll be a catch-all for everybody to come together and see what things are going on. So help promote the library and other groups that we can get in there. Washego does a great job of running a lot of their events, so we try and stay out of that business and let them handle it. So
okay. Okay. Thank you.
Great, Cheryl. Thank you. And I would encourage anybody on the committee, and if you're hearing from anyone in the community, to bring the ideas forward and direct it towards Erica. We haven't had an Erica. Welcome, Erica, once again to the group. We haven't had someone in that position before. Normally, it was someone in Craig's position, and it was probably overwhelming. We have had movies in the park. We have had the fall colors tour and sort of thing. So yeah, those suggestions are dynamite. I couldn't disagree with one on the cultural aspect of it all. But we do need the ideas, and it is a little bit up to us, and we'll funnel it through you, Erica, and you can shed some light on the challenges and logistics of bringing that to light and making that happen. That is great. Judith, I saw your card was up.
Yeah, I was just thinking, actually, Erica, is that you've got kids camp this summer and we got those new curtains and you could do a play. I could help. I think it'd be fun. The kids would love it. They love getting on stages. There's a stage at the mill, and every time I go over there and these kids get up there and they just dance away. Like the school ground in Coldwater has a stage, and those kids spend half the recess performing for each other. It's hilarious. And the other one is for your kids camp this summer, you might want to talk to the Washego Art Club. They may be interested in coming in and doing like a little art project with the kids. And I saw in Aurelia, and it was very interesting because Leslie Fournier, I think that's her name, she does things on the Streets Alive in Aurelia, but she goes all over, and well, if you ever get on her Facebook page, it's fabulous. But they just did wooden pumpkins. And they put them along a fence, like an ugly fence, and the kids painted them all. Some of them were pumpkin faces, some were, and I thought that's a cute idea. Even at summer campus, the kids could do some little artwork things, and we could put them, you could put them along somewhere. And that's the beginning of culture. I think if for children to learn that, and we're so lucky to have the Washego Art Club because they at for our July 1st, they do a whole craft thing for the kids. And they like last year they painted birdhouses and they had leftover buttons from the Santa Claus parade. So we spray painted them and the kids could write on them whatever they wanted and stuff like that. And also I just gonna let you know, it was on November 22nd, the art club is having an art sale, like a craft art sale for the day up there. And the other, I don't know how cultural this is, but there is the Haunted Mill
Yeah, that's
in
cultural.
Coldwater, and they're
That's
having
cultural.
an opening Thursday night.
Mhm.
And then if you go on their Facebook page, it gives you all the different nights it's on. The Scream Shack has the upstairs going on, and we helped I helped them on Monday finish decorating outside. So it's all, and they have one's just for kids, one's for adults. So those kind of things are out there. And even if you ever, if you're doing, you talked about a camp in Coldwater, the woman who owns the Bit Studio, Back in Time Studio, beside the Tiffany restaurant, her name is Whitney. She does all kinds of stuff. I take my pottery lessons from her. She's done some kids clay pottery things. They made some buttons for some necklaces for that. And I know the library, Dee would work with you because she's constantly bringing in stuff like that, like book authors and different things. I guess it's just getting the word out there that it's on and people just need to hear about it. But there is stuff out there. It's just that you gotta, somebody's gotta tell everybody about it because it's hard to find it on your own. Anyway,
Thanks,
that was my
Judith.
2 bits.
Thank you.
That was my
Appreciate it.
advertising, sorry.
It's not much to do
Commercial.
with capital budget, but it was a great discussion. It was
It
a
was a
super idea.
commercial.
We got some new ideas there. Love it. It's super. If there isn't any more discussion on the report
Sorry.
from officials in the capital budget, then don't see anybody's card up. Cassidy, I think we need a motion to accept the report from official for direction.
Sure. That motion is that Recreation Report R 25-014 dated October 14th, 2025 with respect to the 2026 Recreation Parks and Facilities Capital Plan priorities be received. And further that the 2026 Recreation Parks and Facilities Capital Plan in Appendix 1 as amended be brought forward to the mayor for consideration during the 2026 capital budget deliberations.
And need someone to give that motion support. Excellent, John. Thank you. And someone to support that motion. Great. Judith or Barb, thank you. And all in favor? Super. Great. Thank you. Moving forward then to correspondence. Do we have any correspondence for information? No. And correspondence for direction. Any correspondence for direction? No. Very well then. Council representative, either Councilor Minnings or Deputy Mayor Cox, if you could share with us an update.
Actually, I would like to find out this council representative update. What would you like to know? Sorry, I guess sometimes I think I'm just sort of, I don't know, repeating an agenda or something, and then I do my little commercial ad, what's going on wherever I know, and then so I wasn't really sure. I'm not sure if you still need this or you want it. Like,
I don't remember why it came
I
up.
don't either. I
We
can't
brought this up.
remember why
Yeah.
it
At the
started.
time, we were all meeting in chambers, so it was a long time ago
Yeah,
now.
it was. And
And I
I
don't
just,
know why that would have been. Like if the rest of us aren't reading the minutes
yeah.
of the council meeting that which we should be doing. Um, I know I personally I would like to know behind the scenes what you're working on, the secretive stuff. That would be really
Oh, the
great. But
juicy stuff.
Yeah, exactly one of the juicy stuff. But
So,
certainly, if you can't share any of that, then
no.
is this an item on the agenda that we need to maintain?
And we have this same question at council because once a month we do updates from everyone on council. And yeah, and we had the same question and it was really relevant then. And I'm glad, Judith, you brought it here too, is
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if somebody wants to know something, this could just be you could actually just say any questions or something if anybody has anything, and we could answer what you wonder. But I just sometimes think I'm just sort of talking away.
The, the only
And-
thing I might say, only because I gave this update at work, like I have a 9 to 5 job, and it was relevant because I get to be away to do council stuff during my workday. But we're switching our council model and our
Yeah.
meeting model, and that's taking effect November 5th. So you may know that council meetings are 3 Wednesday mornings a month. And they're all different. So council actually is the first Wednesday of every month. And then on the third and the fourth Wednesdays, and I'm looking to Judith because I don't have it fully baked, but the third is a committee meeting that we're all on called Planning and Development. And the fourth Wednesday is a committee that we're also all on called Corporate Services Committee. So the clerk, Allison Gray, brought forward to council a recommendation or just an opportunity for us to go to a different model. And I can't remember what the model is. She gave us a
It's
little bit of an overview, but Judith is aware of the model because that's how Simcoe County Council.
Yeah, that's
So
what it
we
is,
go
yeah.
from 3 meetings a month to 2 meetings a month or bi-weekly meetings, which we actually meet, 24 times a year instead of 36. And anyway, Judith, you can talk a
Yeah,
little.
and the good thing about it because we had a council meeting and then 2 committee meetings, anything we did at committee couldn't be ratified until the following council meeting. And our planning was getting clogged. Yes, John, you're nodding. So this one is good because the first meeting and the third one, it's council says, yep, there it is, done. Staff, go do your thing. So it's a consent. You pull what you want to talk about. You make a decision and it's done that day. So you're not waiting 2 weeks or someone with a variance or anything like that. They don't wait that long. And so it just makes it more efficient. And I think it works better. I do enjoy at the county. It's got the consent. You discuss things or you pull. But the best part of it is for planning especially is that decision's made that day on a report. So then someone isn't waiting 2 weeks and then it comes back again.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah.
it will be much more efficient, and I think it's a good system. I quite like the county when it flows quite well.
Yes. So I think that was just an
Yeah.
update and for those who are curious
Yeah.
or follow council meetings, but it's an important one for us too,
Yeah.
as council members.
So if you want to, instead of saying council representative update, you could just say questions, just a question thing. If anybody's got a question about something, just because I struggle to come up with things sometimes.
I know it could go sideways on us, but an open floor or an open forum line in our agenda would be great. I think that's where someone may come up with an idea or a concept or a suggestion or a complaint that just doesn't fit into the agenda. This would be a wonderful opportunity for us to
Yeah.
just say, um, those container boats are sneaking into the system. What are we going to
Yeah,
do about it as a
exactly.
township to
Yeah.
block them out? And that doesn't fit into the agenda typically.
So I
That's
don't
a
know,
good
Craig,
idea.
you can come up with something for us.
Yeah.
Cheryl.
Yeah, I actually do like when you give an update as to what's going to be happening and if anything has passed with regards to recreation. I do know I get on. I do watch some of the committees and sort of get an idea about it. But I also would like to have an open forum only because I'm want to bring two things to both Judith and Wanda regarding recreation. Is it okay? Is it okay if I move
Sure.
forward with this? Okay, so one of the things that has come to my attention from various people is, one of our biggest assets that we have here in Severn Township is the lakes and rivers. And one of the things that they've now noticed with the lakes and rivers, and I mean, and that's where recreation happens. There's a lot of events that happen on our lakes and rivers, is the phosphorus levels are increasing on the lakes and rivers. And because of the phosphorus levels increasing, we're also sorry, in addition to that, this past fall in August, we also saw increase in temperatures, which in turn led to increase in blue-green algae. I do know that this got reported to SIA, MNR, and Simcoe County Health. However, what we did see is this didn't get reported to the general public, and that's a real concern that we have. I mean, we want our lakes and rivers to be safe for people to be in, and so I'm bringing it here because this is a recreation committee. So I'm hoping that the council can maybe have a conversation. I don't know what to do, but how do we get SIA and how do we get Simcoe County to let people know that, hey, there's blue-green algae that's showing up? And the other thing that we're concerned about is what can we do about this whole increase in phosphorus? The phosphorus is showing up on the lakes in Severn and lakes in Muskoka. I can give you data because we do have right now the Glacier Portage Association has Dr. Cynthia Gilmore working with us. She is has a doctorate in environmental studies. She works with the Smithsonian Institute, and she's been doing data crunching for us and actually been involved with the water testing on our lake and also on McLean Lake. I know that there's McLean Lake, there's issues, but I also know that there's issues on some others where the blue-green algae is showing up. So, I mean, we're looking at phosphorus and what can we do to start looking at making sure what it is. So there's two things. So how do we get these and Simcoe County to let people know that, hey, if there's blue-green algae, there is, because we don't want people taking water in. A lot of the cottagers or people that are on lakes, not necessarily cottagers, full-time, pull their water from the lakes, and we want the water to be safe during that time. And then what do we do in terms of phosphorus? I like cutting back on phosphorus. So these are some concerns that have been brought to my attention.
So you need to get your cottage association people onto our communication updates, because Tracy puts that out every single blue-green algae, every single health unit.
Okay.
She flashes those out. As
Okay.
soon as they come, they come out to everybody. It'll say Severn update, no, do not reply or something thing. And if they have those will pop up on that. And I believe that the SSEA
Okay.
is the way to go with that one. Like
And
I
this
can talk
isn't
to
a
Mark Taylor. You
ministry.
should talk to Mark. That's who you need to talk to, because he's our rep on that.
Sorry, Mark.
Yeah. Mark Taylor.
Okay, because I have talked to SSEA and they said that no, we just do water testing. They don't do anything around regulations or around mitigation. They don't have that mandate. It's so
Right.
conservation authorities do, but
And you
they
see,
don't. They weren't given
that's
that.
not our mandate either, because that's the
Yeah.
Trans-Severn
So-
waterway.
So
The only thing I can
SSEA,
think
there
of
was a-
also is you belong to it. They're very important, is FOCA. They constantly put out that information on who does what and who should be. That lady who was at the Canoe for Cancer, I think she'd be a good contact. Just ask her what happens other places, because I know that the whole system starts right with, Lake Simcoe and before, and it runs right by us all. And I honestly would have to say, for mitigation and for what you should do, FOCA has a wonderful, anything I've ever seen from them. I got a whole bunch of booklets from them when I was there, actually. But that might be another just avenue, because I don't know. I can ask around, but I don't, I know our township doesn't have any, unfortunately, that's not our job. Like the water is the Trans-Severn.
I got a
So
little
just-
bit of experience with this, with the struggle that we had dredging the Tafton Canal that I live on.
Yeah.
It's federal. All of it is federally regulated, and there's very little that the province has any say or action to take on it. It's and the feds don't
No.
they don't jump in their car and drive down and have a look at what's going on very quickly either.
There was a question about the acronyms SSEA and FOCUS, so I just think maybe
Oh,
just
sorry.
for the benefit of
Sim-
everybody,
yeah.
we should.
Severn Sound Environmental Association, which we are a member of with Oro Madani, Springwater, Tiny Tay, Georgian Bay. And we all have a membership. And we don't have a conservation authority. We have the SSEA. FOCA is the Federation of Ontario Cottagers, right? Association?
Association, yeah.
Yeah. And I
Thank
had a
you.
brain thing go on there when you mentioned whatever it was and it went away again, but I'm sorry. The federal thing, you said, Bill, there was a federal and you.
It was it
Oh, I know
is
what
all
it is.
encompassing.
You
The
can
permits that
sign
we had
up.
to get.
I've signed up for the Trent Severn Waterway updates. I get them every 2 weeks. And I just got the latest one about why the water was down, what was going on. And I signed up, I think it was right on the ice storm. I went on their website and found it, and I just get all their updates when they come through. Because
Could
those
we put the
places have
links
them
to,
all.
could we put the links to those associations in the minutes?
Sure.
Even to the websites, right?
Yeah. Cassidy, do you know where, can you find those? Or
The
Erica?
SSEA might already be linked on the website.
Yes.
The other one I can look into.
Yeah, the
In the
FOCA?
actually in the minutes. That's
Yeah.
where I thought it might be
Yeah.
helpful.
And then the other one is the Trent Severn Waterway. I just went on their website and they have a place where you can subscribe
Yeah.
to get newsletters and what's going on. And I did it just because I have people say to me, my water's up, my water's down.
Right. Yeah.
And I can't answer anything, but at least I can tell them that there's information.
Thank you. I have another question. The um, I'm just wondering, so I know the Ford government has done a lot of changes with regards to development. Is there still a requirement to set aside lands for developments, set aside lands for parks when there is a development proposal?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I know
I'm
that
So
there
yeah,
was
what
like
was it again?
sorry, is there still a requirement for setting aside land for parks when there is a
Yes.
development proposal? Yeah. And has that been reduced or increased?
Craig, I think that comes to us
Yeah.
now. Remember
Yeah, it comes to us. There is still requirement for park land, but it can be taken in cash in lieu still. So that's a decision. I know that this committee's had those discussions before and looking at previous
Yeah,
to my time, but
yeah.
so that still exists. I know our planning staff is working on a more sound policy for that, which we don't have right now. So they're
Okay.
looking into that as part of their process. There isn't a dedicated percentage or anything that we have. It's
Okay.
usually around 5, but yeah, it comes down to I've had discussions with the planning department too of like when these proposals come forward from developers that it's usable parkland. If we're not taking casually, that we're taking usable parkland because we have some that aren't
swamp. We've
usable.
got swamps before.
Yeah, so that it's usable,
Okay.
and we're dealing with one of those right now, which was given dedicated as parkland down in the subdivision in behind Weber's there that was proposed.
Oh yeah.
But now it's really a swamp, and the trail they have proposed can't go in through there now. So they're working on those kind of things to go back at the developer and go, okay, this doesn't work. If we're not taking green space, it doesn't work. So
Right.
yeah, so it is still there, but it hasn't been reduced by the Ford government or anything like that. They haven't reduced the amount. So
Okay. I
yeah.
thought they had, but okay, just wondering about that. And does Severn Township have to have like a quota for how many houses have to be built? I know it's like some of the cities have to have one. They have to come up with some kind of quota, and if they meet the quota, they get special money. They'll get additional money from the province?
No, we don't have
Is
that.
that how?
No.
You don't have that? Okay, doesn't apply. Okay, thank you.
It's major,
I
it's
think
usually
it's the
the
other
big
way, isn't
cities
it,
that have
Judith?
that. Yeah.
Isn't it going against us?
Aurelia doesn't even have it. Aurelia just was looking to get it. You have to say how many homes you can build, and then if you hit your target, they give you so much.
Oh, okay. But they don't do that with like small townships then?
No.
No. Okay. I'm just wondering about that. Okay.
Are
I
we
think
still on a permit? I don't want to call it a lockdown, but a permit. Have we reached our saturation for issuing development permits? Judith, we had that years ago. I think that came up one time. Even if you owned 100 acres, you couldn't divide off a quarter of an acre to sell to somebody because of the development that we had going, Coldwater and West Shore. Is that done now? Like
No, it's just that the province wants you to build where there's water and sewer.
got it. And that's our limitation because of
And
the
our
lagoon at
limitation
Lachey.
in Coldwater is capacity,
Yeah.
water and sewer capacity. And that's what will halt or slow you down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember watching
Yeah,
that
but
meeting.
that's what it's about. And I don't even want to get into that because it drives me nuts that they won't let somebody sever a piece of property for a house. Anyway, we'll not go there.
Yeah. Okay. Cheryl.
Okay, sorry. Question. So is Aurelia expanding into Severn Township? Or
Yeah,
like is this
well, they're asking to, yes.
they are asking to, but you don't know if
Yes,
it'll be
we're discussing with them, yes.
Okay.
And I think it's 100 and some hectare. It's over by Hawkridge, and it goes up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
In
they
that
did
area,
they
that's where
did
it
have
is.
a counselor that wanted to take more, but really, its council said no. So
Okay.
we're sitting where we were a year ago, and we haven't heard any more from them.
So
We're at a certain point, yeah.
so it's not gonna affect the park that is it called ODS?
Pardon?
Is there not a fairground? Is the fairground over by
No, Otis
Aurelia?
Park isn't part of that, no.
Oh, it's not part of it? And
No.
is that part of Severn? I thought that
Pardon
was
me?
part of Severn.
No.
Is that part of
Otis?
Severn town? No? Oh,
No.
I was thinking it was. Okay, no, it's not. Okay. But it's Hawkridge
Yeah.
area. So if it's
It's very-
Hawkridge area, that's really close to the town, the town.
Oh, well,
the town-
we've explained that, yeah, that we kind of
Oh,
got
okay.
a township office there. They can't
Oh, the
take it
township
from
hall.
us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, and it's very amicable. Like it's not like the Barrie Simcoe County issue.
Okay.
Stop the urban sprawl.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'm being kind because it is. They want some land, and we get it. And they've done their homework, and they only need so much. And they're asking Oral Madani for some too.
Okay.
And Oral Madani will probably be mainly employment land.
Thank you.
Craig.
So I guess that just brought to mind, we did receive a letter, or the mayor and council received a letter from the city of Aurelia that stating that they voted to increase non-resident recreation fees from 30% surcharge to 50% surcharge. So that was received by council. The directive that came back from council was that discussion, they wanted to discuss it immediately or quickly. That was deferred to be involved in the annexation discussions with the municipality to encompass all that in and have discussions on where that may go. And those were supposed to be brought in for May 2026, I believe. So that'll be part of the discussions on their increase, if it happens or not. So
Thanks, Craig. Cheryl.
Craig, through the chair to Craig, do you know about how many people from Severn Township use Aurelia services? And they've got that beautiful pool now, and I'm just curious as
I
to what
believe
percentage.
their numbers registration are up around the 5,000 registration mark, whether that's 5,000 people or not. They didn't tell us. We do know that off that 30%, they generate around $300,000 just on that 30% upcharge on the programs.
From our township.
Yeah, plus the base fees.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
Plus, don't forget, if we're talking culture, the Aurelia Library
Yeah.
has 7 users, and that's public information.
Yeah.
If you want numbers, I can, Craig has them. or
And
we can-
yeah,
But
and they only,
with-
yeah. And
sorry,
we get a
with the
contract.
Yeah, and with the
Yeah.
user fees for the Aurelia Recreation Center, it did come to council. I forget off the top which meeting, about the proposed increases and
Yeah.
Craig and Judith's response that it would be discussed together with the annexation, with the mayor and the township. But the user fees for the Aurelia Rec Center are um, are reasonable. I think we have to keep that in mind for this committee as we're
Okay.
thinking about the recreation center, the West Shore Recreation Center, for example. If we get grants to build it, that's one thing. But if we don't, the user fees for me to go in and use it for a day is with my Cumberland Beach address is $7.50 a day. So 30% on top of that is not cost prohibitive. So it is amicable, all of these discussions, because we do need them for the things that we haven't been able to build for ourselves right at the moment.
And we also have to remember too, is that the only fear would, if I would have about that, is that they would open it up to Aurelia residents first. And then if there's room, it's for the other people. But that's their right, and they can do that. And I just wanted to tell you too, the library contracts with our library, and we've signed an agreement, and it's a 5% increase, which is minimal, and it's good because it provides services for Ward 3, 4, and 5 that we can't provide in Coldwater. So it's excellent service. They have a lot of programs and things they have, and it's the way to go with that for sure too.
Yeah. I would add also that that doesn't include ice fees. So the
Right.
increase, there is no upcharge on ice fees. It's just for the library, rec center, which is the pool and gym facilities there.
You're right, which is a whole secondary recreation building in Aurelia called the Rotary Place near Costco. So yeah, lots available to a lot of people. And I like that we have the opportunities because they come to our events too. And that, the average citizen, I guess my ward and Ward 3 being the closest as far as bordering Aurelia, we don't distinguish between we're crossing into Aurelia, to go shopping or to go to any kind of anything. And that includes rec center. So it's been working really well. And I do see that it'll expand, like we'll be able to expand our own eventually, but right now, everybody's understanding what they have in the game. And I think the conversation from council, and it is an interesting discussion because I think the mayor and the deputy were at the meeting with with the Aurelia mayor. And so it's just exploratory a little bit, but they need to expand just like we're expanding certain services and things. And I think it's a good discussion.
Excellent. Great. And with that, any more discussion regarding council representative update for information?
Done. Thank you.
Excellent. Cassidy, do we need a motion for council representative update?
Yes, the motion reads just that the council representative update be received for information.
Great. And someone to support that motion, please. Thanks, John. And a second. Thanks, Carol. And bring it to a vote. Excellent. And with that, I need a motion for adjournment. Will someone support the motion to adjourn the meeting? Thanks, Judith. And a second. Thanks, John. All in favor? Fantastic. Great. Thanks, everybody. That went well.